Now the man who sent that mob to the U.S. Capitol is facing potential criminal conviction for what happened that day.
It was the worst day in American history. A day that will live in infamy.
If you've joined us today for the insurrection, please make sure you pick up a promotional leaflet on the way in, stay inside the safety cordons at all times, and if you get lost, speak to one of our Capitol Police officers. They'll be sure to point you in the right direction.
The American people deserve to have an answer in the courts before the upcoming election. The public has a right to know the answer about what happened on January 6th before they are asked to vote again this year.
The day Joe Biden was elected. Orange man bad.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look.
So who is pulling the strings?
Thank you, everybody. Have a seat. Have a seat. Thank you. Vice President Biden. Vice President. That was a joke.
It was just a joke. Or was it?
That was all set up. My president, Joe Biden.
Orange is the new black.
What's going on, everybody? Jeremy here from the Coring. Full day of news for you today, obviously. Also, the daily live stream at 1 Eastern, noon Central, new time for that. So hopefully you'll tune in over on Quartercast, on YouTube, or over on, of course, you know, the Mean Green website. Yesterday, I think we reached peak broken Joe Biden. It was like literally like Weekend at Bernie's. I'm not exactly sure what in the heck they were thinking. But they slapped a coat of paint on the man because apparently he looked too pale sitting next to Donald Trump. I don't know. And he ended up, now obviously a lot of the pictures you're seeing on the internet, I think, have the contrast turned up. I think, or saturation, probably the saturation. But if this feed is real, I guess if you can't beat them, join them. All I can do is just show you. This is how he looked on TV. Now, I have seen many pictures, many faces. You can see Joe Biden's new rollout with the Trump coif. Here's a before and after. Joe Biden becoming more orange than Trump. Could this, I'm sure this is a lighting issue, right? There's no way they put on 4 coats of paint that quickly. And you see here a different picture, but he obviously, he lost that debate so badly, his handlers were like, what can we do? Well, let's just make him look more like Trump. I can't think of a single other reason. Like, what? You can see this. No one had to say a word. CNN's carefully considered framing and lighting design effectively conveyed its intended perceptions of fragility versus dominance and visual compensation. This is why we got this yesterday. The left is so upset, so coping, that they are literally blaming the lighting. I don't think the lighting made Joe Biden say, we beat Medicare. What? I don't think that was the lighting and the framing or the perception. I'm sorry. Perspective. English much? Had my Joe Biden moment there. Biden was filmed in profile looking pale as a ghost. Again, whose fault is that? Right? Trump was filmed straight on, not looking his usual shade of tangerine, but more like marmalade. Biden is a man of honor, integrity, resilience, and resolve. Trump is a Trump is a Trump. 23,000 likes? The 23,000 likes coping over the lighting. This is how bad this debate went for Joe Biden. It broke his team so bad. It broke the left so bad that they are copium You see, I believe you're exactly correct, Stephanie. I work in stage design and lighting techniques on Broadway, and I studied the debate very carefully last night. From my observation, I produced a diagram of the stage setup. What in the heck? What kind of level? This is the level of copium that we have never seen. Never, ever, 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 ever seen. I mean, you took he had to Google the stage setup, then create this diagram of where he thought lights were. And by the way, all of this is the theory that CNN, okay, the network that has covered for Biden, has swept for Biden the last 4 years, suddenly thought, yeah, let's get him with the lighting. This is a nuclear level of copium. Now you see here a freshly orange painted Joe Biden admits what everyone knew. The purpose of the Trump trials was to, dissuade people from voting for him. The American people deserve to have an answer in the courts before the upcoming election. Now, because of today's decision, that is highly, I wonder if he whispered any of it.
Now the man who sent that mob to the U.S. Capitol
Didn't do that.
is facing potential criminal conviction for what
No, he isn't.
happened that day. And the American people deserve to have an answer in the courts before the upcoming election. The public has a right to know the answer about what happened on January 6th
Yeah. Who put the pipe thingies there, huh?
before they asked to vote again this year. Now, because of today's decision, that is highly, highly unlikely.
Cope. Pretty sure he said, stand down and go home. Pretty sure he never said, come do this. Pretty sure he didn't tell people to break the law. That just, quite frankly, never happened. But this is and by the way, does anybody on the planet seriously raise your hand? I can see all the way across the internet. Do you genuinely care about J6 anymore outside of the unlawful imprisonment of American citizens by a tyrannical regime? Does anybody actually care? Yeah, some people got out of control that day and they went a little too far. Like 50 people, okay? And you know what? If you broke things or you damaged property, I support you getting the appropriate ticket, all right? Just like I would support for all those free Palestine people who seem to be storming state buildings like they're going out of style. Okay? You break the law. I support an even, application of whatever relevant, laws stand around it. I think that's totally fine. What I'm most concerned with is the hundreds of people that have been charged, in my opinion, as surrogates for Trump, trying to get Orange Man. Biden unveils cool new look and campaign slogan, "Make America Superb a Second Time." By the way, I have an unbelievable mic gaffe for you as well that the fact checkers on Twitter are desperately trying to bury as well. Washington, D.C., in an attempt to shore up an abysmal approval rating and poll numbers before the 2024 campaign season begins, in earnest, President Joe Biden has unveiled a revamped approach to seeking re-election, including orange hair and skin, as well as the new campaign slogan, "Make the United States Superb a Second Time." MTUSAST. What? Oh, yeah. Mossad Bilder der Bergen. Mossad Bilder der Bergen. Biden shouted while wearing a baseball cap emblazoned with the new slogan at a press conference. Listen up, folks. Here's the deal. If you elect me, re-elect me, once again, re-elect me another time, I'm going to take a hard line on this immigration stuff. I'm going to build a barrier thing on the border, and I'm going to make the American people pay for it. Harvin's a burger bigging. Sources within the Biden campaign acknowledged the changes in the strategy were deemed necessary due to minor factors like the lagging economy, skyrocketing crime rates in urban areas, soaring inflation, lackluster job market, record high energy prices, and overall disapproval in the direction of the country. Sometimes it's nice to change things up a bit, said the Biden strategist against obviously this is from the Babylon Bee, but Joe Biden has become more orange than Trump. I don't know. I suspect his orangeness varied based on your TV saturation levels, but he very obviously had some orange work done. Obviously, because you can look at, this is just from a few hours ago, how much did the debate hurt Biden's re-election bid? New poll offers insight. Republican Donald Trump has edged ahead of Democrat Joe Biden, 41% to 38% in the aftermath of the candidates' rancorous debate last week, according to an exclusive USA Today Suffolk University poll. The narrow advantage has opened since the previous survey in May showed the two contenders tied at 37%. I don't know how you go from, I guess, people are voting for third parties in this case. It's a pretty significant bump for Trump, 3 whole percentage points. Obviously, I think people in the Trump campaign would like to see it closer to 12 or 13 percentage points. But there's a lot more debates to happen, or at least one more. The findings signal a close contest, but not a decisive lead. The difference in the support and the shift since the spring are within the poll's margin of errors, plus or minus 3.1 percentage points. The new survey of 1,000 registered voters was taken Friday through Sunday by landline and cell phone. There was little changing in the standing of third-party candidates, with independent RFK at 8% and 3 others at about 1%. Other findings in the poll raised red flags for President Biden, though, whose campaign had been roiled by his faltering performance in the CNN debate last Thursday. In the survey, 41% of Democrats said they wanted Biden to be replaced at the top of the ticket. Not going to happen. You're stuck with him. And then we've got this absolute gem. Are you ready for this? Breaking, Joe Biden reads, quote, end of quote, again during his speech.
Justice Sotomayor's dissent today. Here's what she said. She said, in every use of official power, the president is now a king above the law. With fear for our democracy, I dissent. End of quote.
Just so people know how hilarious that is, there's a teleprompter that he's reading. Okay, that's the only time he sounds coherent. It had quotation marks around, and at the end of the quote, it says like likely in parentheses, end of quote. And he read that part. And the fact checkers are coping. While the caption is factually correct, it attempts to mislead the reader into thinking that this was an error or inappropriate on the president's part. However, the president was quoting a Supreme Court justice's word, and to say end quote was appropriate. No, it wasn't. I'm sure he was not supposed to say it. I mean, people could say, oh, he was supposed to say end quote because he was quoting someone else. Maybe. Nobody's giving this guy the benefit of the doubt. Whoa, Joe. Biden slammed for his Trump-style makeup during remarks about SCOTUS immunity ruling just days after debate disaster. And they're just coping. Joe Biden enjoys the exact same immunity that Donald Trump does, that Barack Drone Obama does, that all previous presidents do. All right. His cope was that it was the last play that they had to try and put President Trump in jail. That was the last thing they had up their sleeve to stopping him without, going too far down the rabbit hole. And that's why they're coping and seething, because that was it. They really thought that all this lawfare would put him in prison, and it failed. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please do subscribe or follow down below. Hope to see you at my 1 Eastern live stream over on Rumble or on Quartercast on YouTube or on my Twitch channel. We'll talk to you again real soon.